Good morning, everyone. How is everybody this fine Monday morning? It is chilly in California, 48 degrees. Good morning, Alex.
That ain't chilly. It's 16 degrees here. What are you talking about?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
With the wind chill, what was the wind chill? I'm sorry, we're up to 22 right now.
Wow.
Wind chill was down 10 degrees. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, after spending that many years in Colorado, I'll pass on the 0-degree weather. That's just not working for me anymore.
You just need a good pair of skivvies, buddy.
Oh gosh, I mean, I went through a whole learning curve for the first year. Not only me and my ex-wife, but my kids. It was a whole nother world, and it was cold. Well, let's see here. We go. Oh, there you are.
You acclimate, you know.
I know. It was the bigger challenge. Really, wasn't so much the cold weather because it was sunny a lot of the time in Colorado. The big challenge was the snow. Learning how to drive in the snow, how to deal with the snow. That was much more labor intensive than anything else. And then don't get me started with the whole snow plowing and all the other crap that I dealt with. I went from a shovel to a snow blower to hiring somebody to do it for me. Yeah. No thanks. Well, good morning, Dave.
A good portion of heart attacks happen when people are shoveling snow.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Interesting. Very interesting. Good morning, James.
Morning.
Do we have our NOS there?
No, sir. I'm drinking coffee that was gifted to us from Kelly.
Oh, you got Kelly's package?
I did.
I am as well.
Oh, I know. Me too. Oh,
Alex, we'll see if we're mentally connected this morning. Which one of the three are you drinking?
I believe I'm on the San Antonio. It's the last one.
Well, I'm on the Texas pecan. Texas pecan.
That's a good one. That was the first one that I drank.
It's yummo.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Dave.
Morning, guys. What's up?
Did you get your care package from Kelly as well?
I did. Yep. I've been diving into cowboy candy or whatever you call it.
I know.
That stuff's the ticket, man.
It's just so cool. She's such a sweetheart. I don't know. I don't see her in the chat yet, but we'll have to remember to thank her if she pops in today or next time she does.
I guess I'll have to find out if she likes horseradish, and because I know Alex likes it, so I'll have to send some off to him.
Yeah, where's my horseradish? I love horseradish.
If you want it, I'll send it out.
Oh yeah.
I'm actually not a horseradish fan, but thank you.
I am for sure. Are you kidding me?
All right.
As long as it's got spice to it.
I've been in it all weekend.
What, horseradish?
Yeah, when I stopped over to see Dave, he was kind enough to christen me with 2 jars of it.
Ooh, yum. Oh yeah, you got to come across, Dave. In fact, I wish I would have had it on Christmas Day. My other sister does our annual Christmas Day get together, and her husband smoked 2 prime rib roasts. Oh my God. It was absolutely incredible. I told him,
yum,
we're going to have to mess around and put him into business to get him to smoke it and then ship it all over the country.
We've been making shrimp cocktail sauce, and woo.
Ooh, I'm sure. I love it. I can't. My mouth is watering thinking about it. All right. Well, let's say some good mornings here. Who do we have with us this morning? We have Gary Murphy is here. Hits is here. Good morning, Hitesh. John Langlois is here. Nurse. Good morning, Nurse. Dana Mackey. Dee said earlier she had sent me several messages saying she couldn't get on TikTok, which, again, there's so much going on with TikTok, it's not surprising to me. Valerie James is here. She said flamethrowers work great on the snow. Yeah, I never got to that point.
Sam, what are you whining about snow for? Really, I'm just mildly curious.
No, it was when I was living in Colorado.
Oh, well, you ought to see what I got here. It was a freaking blizzard all weekend.
Oh, was it really? How many inches you guys get?
A lot. Well, it wasn't so many the inches. It was blowing, and you couldn't see.
Mm.
And here I'm thinking, did you really got christened with some snow in California?
No.
That's great.
No. It's what we were talking about when I was in Colorado. But here's so learning how to drive in the snow in Colorado was crazy. So where we lived was up in the first 4 years was in Winter Park, Colorado, at 9,000 foot elevation, and you had to go over a pass called Berthoud Pass that was 12,000 feet to get into the county. And I can remember when the first year or so I was doing business down in Denver, and I'd have to come home late at night, sometimes midnight, right? And sometimes the snow was so thick that I had to turn my headlights off, because if you left them on, you're driving into a wall of white. You can't see anything. So
fog lights are for.
What's that?
The fog lights are for.
Well, I mean, you're talking about an LA guy that didn't even understand the first thing about snow. So I would literally turn off my headlights going over this 12,000 foot Berthoud Pass, just so I could see where I was going. I mean, it was crazy, man. For somebody from LA, believe me, it was culture shock, to say the least.
Kind of reshapes your stones, doesn't it?
Oh boy, that's an understatement. But we got one. I hope Lisa Maria's here, because we got Reshaping Stones for the Interstatism book. John Gwynn is here. Good morning, John. Beaver from Colorado Springs. Teresa Ann. She said, I love horseradish. We know you're not getting it before me, Teresa Ann. Let's see here. Steve Secord is here. Towie Bixby, our cheerleader. Towie is here. PJ Party Peggy. Sherry from East Tennessee. Jody Singleton 8. Sky Dancer Magic. The Beach Chair Farmer. Sassy Minnesota Girl. Melissa Flinner. Oh my gosh. I wasn't sure how many people we had today because of the holiday and all. Barb 7599. Allie May. Good morning, Allie. Let me see if I can get this adjusted here. There we go. All right. Let's see. What do we have over on? Oh, we've got LMNOT, LM not MJ289. Huh?
I'm not MJ. I'm not MJ.
Oh, I'm not MJ. Okay, there we go. Is here on YouTube. Pasha Moros is here as well over on YouTube. Let's see. Who? You Stopper D. Oh my gosh, we got some trolls over on YouTube today. Exactly. I caught myself just in time though. The Beach Chair Farmer said, I've already had the horseradish. It's the best I've ever had. Well, go ahead and rub it in a little bit. Why don't you, Beach Chair Farmer? Oh my gosh. Let's see. Wildlife Fan is here. Good morning, Wildlife. Lisa Piquel. Good morning, Lisa. All right. Well, let's see here. Let's get to some indices. Alex, what do you think?
I'm ready. I think it should be mandatory that all drivers, before they get their driver's license, should spend at least 6 months above 8,000 feet sea level. And natural selection, if you make it, you make it.
Exactly. And you know, the funny thing, Alex, was so I was learning how to drive in the snow, going through mountain passes. But the people that had lived there for years, they would fly by me at crazy speeds in the snow. And I'm thinking, what the hell is wrong with these people? But apparently they knew their rigs and they knew how they would handle.
Well, they can. Here's the problem: you have the people that do 5 miles an hour, and you have the people that do 50 miles an hour. And when they both meet, they both get an education on how to drive in the ice and snow. You may be able to get going faster if you're in a 4-wheel drive, but you're not going to stop any faster.
Right. Exactly.
I digress. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, December 29th, 2025. The year's almost over, ladies and gentlemen. The markets are reacting kind of adversely today, all across the board. S&P 500 down 31 points to 6,898. The Dow is down 250 to 48,460. The NASDAQ is down 157 to 23,435. Looking at commodities, crude oil is up $1.36 a barrel. I took a picture of gas prices I need to send to you guys. Down in Texas, below $2.
Diesel.
Yeah, diesel was below $2 as well as gasoline. It was what was it? Bay City, Texas. I've got the screenshot. I'll send it to you guys. But gold's not helping me out. We were rocking and rolling over the weekend, and currently we're down $214 to 4,338. Silver rocking and rolling up over $80 over the weekend, and now we're down $6.45 to $70.75. Interesting, when the market's open and we're allowed to trade paper, what happens?
Exactly.
Looking at the crypto market as well, down, 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 and down across the board. It was up for a little bit over the weekend, but come Monday morning, we're down again. Bitcoin is down 0.3% at 87,500. XRP down 0.3% at 186. Ethereum down 0.26% at $2,932. I wish it was 29,000. Stellar Lumen XLM down 1.8 at 22 cents. Cardano down 2.7 at 36 cents. So no bueno.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's so much scuttlebutt going around about the shorts being bought out and then JP Morgan going long on 700 million ounces. And I don't think we're going to have a clear picture on this for some time, whether that's a few days or a few weeks. I don't know. But it is tumultuous, to say the least. Hey, Martini Time's here. Good morning, Martini Time. Benji 1959. Big Ben's here. Good morning, Ben. Martin's WB. Good morning, Martin. Wendy is here as well. I'm married to Bob is here. Oh, that's weird. We got the chat doing some things again. Brian said, Sam, not every word is abbreviated. I know. Believe me. Dana Mackey. Good morning, Dana. I Speak 1717 is here. He said, I saw gold at 82 last night. Well, I think that's based on the Chinese or the Asian markets, because they're still up over 80. And now we're at 72 here in the U.S. What's that, Dave?
I was going to say the gold, silver was up over, I think it was hit 83 or 84 at a certain point. I'm watching it like a hawk, just to give you a heads up over here.
Yeah, cool.
And then the bottom dropped out of it.
Right, exactly.
Looks like it topped out on my chart at 81.97.
Which tells me that they're doing something with the paper.
Paper. JP Morgan and Wells Fargo decided, hey, this is getting out of control. We're going to buy and sell between each other for paper anyway.
Right, exactly. Wendy is here. Good morning, Wendy. Hometown Girl 38 said, hello from snow-covered Iowa. Ooh, chilly. Earl Shannon's here. Earl over on YouTube said, good morning to the Fantastic Four. I like that. Okay, if we're going to be the Fantastic Four, I'm the Torch, just in case anybody's wondering. Who are you? Who's going to be the girl is what I want to know. Oh, Dave. Oh, James.
I have to reevaluate my friendships. I
Exactly.
I bought it with horseradish.
Yeah, exactly. Dave, what do you got for us this morning?
Pretty quiet across the board for the most part. Corn is mixed. It was down new crop or next couple months, and then down up late for the spring. Soybeans are down 5 to 7. Wheat is down 4 to 7. Cattle is up 0.5%, and hogs are about even across the board. USDA Secretary Rollins is taking action on a hydro dam in California. She got notified by 920 residents that they're going to knock it out and wipe out farming for the Potter Valley up in northern California. It looks like they rely a lot on that water. So if they knock the dam out and try to save a fish or two, it's going to ruin a lot of farming throughout that part of the California. So they're stopping it.
Well, their California is going to be held to account in a big way. I mean, we're talking about, well, we'll get into it in the report, but there has got to be ridiculous amounts of money that have been fraudulent, not to mention the bureaucracy of trying to hold back building and other things based on bogus information. Deborah Dodd-Wade is here. Good morning, Deborah. Helpful Honey just popped in. Good morning, Helpful. Glad you can make it. Kathleen Paschke's here over on Facebook. Good morning, Kathleen. James, what do you have for us from a military standpoint?
So it was pretty quiet militarily too this weekend. Not the usual things that we'll probably talk about throughout the dispatch, like Venezuela oil tankers, and I got some good data on that. So the military and AI, the focus on turning data into speed. It support the decision support. It helps staff build options faster by sorting data and surfacing patterns. Intel and awareness, speeding up how sensor and intel feeds are processed and shared. Maintenance and logistics, it predicts failures, identifying supply risk, and reduction of downtime. Training and workforce, building AI literacy and safer testing, approved tools. The incorporation of edge tools helps soldiers process battlefield data. Turbine One was awarded $98.9 million deal to give soldiers on-device technology, enabling them need to know now information. Predictive analytics shifts combat and battlefield tactics to an echelon we haven't experienced yet. Data-driven sustainment anticipates needs and positions supplies before shortages hits. So we're becoming much more efficient with the use of AI, and sky's the limit where it could really take us.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Hey, Lord Bullion's here. Hey, Lord. Before I forget, everyone. So I've gotten so many messages about the subscriptions on TikTok. So here's the breakdown. When TikTok made their big change, a few weeks ago, a couple months, whatever it was, a month ago, if you were a subscriber, you are grandfathered in as a subscriber. If you're just subscribing now, the only option you have is to join as a super fan. Now, that's out of my control. That's not something I can control, but we would hope that you would want to be part of our group here and become a subscriber on TikTok. But again, if it's super fan only, not much we can do about that. Nothing we can do about it other than do what TikTok says we can do. And then secondly, I just completely lost my train of thought. Oh, so we're trying to break out of the algorithm on TikTok. So if you are able, please send us a heart me. That is, we have to get to 60 a day in order to break out of this algorithm. So if you can send look at everybody sending the heart me's. Charlie, thank you. Wendy J, you're so sweet. Lacey Steele's here. Kathleen Garcia. All right, the whole gang's getting in here. Good, love to see it. But anyway, that's the breakdown on the subscriptions and on the heartbeats. All right, well, let's pop into some stories here. We have first on the hit list, FBI Director Kash Patel announced that the Bureau has finalized plans to permanently close its J. Edgar Hoover headquarters and relocate to the Ronald Reagan Building in downtown Washington, D.C. Now, for those of you who've kept the pulse on this whole situation, Richard, citizen journalist, Nancy Drew have been boots on the ground for years in Washington. And so many of the buildings that were occupied by the federal government have been abandoned for years. Are they simply rolling this out now to bring the public up to speed? That's just my 2 cents on it. James, what do you think?
Well, the J. Edgar Hoover Building's been the home for FBI since 1975. Kash Patel made a decision to go to the Ronald Reagan Building because he's automatically saving the government $5 billion from the new construction of another building we don't need. So as the head of Doge, it's kind of nice to see. I don't know if he's the head of Doge, but he participates in it. But for him to say we don't need a new building, we're just going to revamp a little bit, and probably not like the Fed secretary did or claimed to do, I think it's a plausible move.
Well, and another thing that Kash Patel said on that interview is he said that the Hoover Building was unsafe. He didn't expound upon it. He didn't, but in the drops, we know that Q specifically pointed out the 7th floor in that building. Now, I don't know what that means, but Alex, what do you think?
The building has been in a deteriorating condition for years with crumbling concrete and outdated system, prompting relocation plans that date back over 20 years. This is nothing new. So,
right. Dave?
Yeah, we'll see what that consists of. I didn't know who owned it. If we own it, or do we lease it, or that'd be interesting to see.
Right. Nutty81 said, Sam, are you located near the LA Basin in California? If so,
US government.
If so, please do some research on what they are saying. Yes, I am in Los Angeles, Nutty81, but I'm not sure what you're referring to. So put something else in the chat. But there's a lot going on in California right now. We're just starting to see the rumblings of the relationship between NGOs and fraud. In fact, let's just jump right to that story now. So over on X, C3 posted some numbers and some stats concerning NGOs. California NGOs, which are non-governmental organizations, have over 219,000 NGOs responsible for $593 billion a year. That's over a $500 billion. New York, 119,000 NGOs, $446 billion a year. Minnesota, 42,000 NGOs, $120 billion a year. New Jersey, 58,000 NGOs, $113 billion a year. And Washington NGOs, over 46,000 at $140 billion a year. If we're seeing the kind of fraud numbers out of Minnesota, based on them having just over 42,000, what's it going to look like in New York and California when they start to dig into that, Alex?
What a wonderful time we live in that it's coming to light in the first place. I mean, what this young man in Minnesota has, I don't know if you guys have been watching the videos, but he's actually going to these daycares that claim to have, 75 to 90 children. They're completely empty. They're taking 1.2, 1.8, 1.9 million per year in funding for buildings that are completely empty. Going back real quick to the previous story, the GSA, the General Services Administration, the United States owns the Hoover Building. But, we're talking about California at $500 billion. Like, what have we seen throughout Doge and the correlation to NGOs? When you start digging into who owns the NGOs, it's cousins, sisters, brothers, uncles, nephews, nieces of politicians that are making the decisions to send the money to the NGOs so they can line their pockets. We all see it. So Doge, I think, is starting to ripple out across the states, and people, I mean, the fact that these stories are making light of day because of alternative media is what's so exciting, right? Like, this is good stuff. This is good stuff.
Dana Mackey said it's Nick Shirley. Yes, Dana, you're correct. That's him. But what I find interesting is how many of these there's nobody there. That begs the question, has this been dealt with some time ago and now they're just releasing the information? Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, that's interesting. That would see how it opens up. I think Minnesota was the start of it. Obviously, showing some in California at 79 billion, right? I believe is what they
billion.
think.
Yep.
70 billion.
Initial reports.
Yeah, like Illinois has 79,000 of them too. So that's probably pretty corrupt. And it's just one more root and one more corruption, another part of the elements to take our money. And I think the money has been funneled to many things, including the Democratic Party.
100%, I agree. And I think we're just starting to see the tip of the iceberg, James.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. But what they've discovered in Minnesota, they now call an industrial scale fraud scheme. So far, they've had about 100 implicated in Minnesota, and the number climbs daily. Hundreds of millions in housing assistance, autism services, pandemic era food and fraud, 14 different Medicaid programs tagged for significant fraud problems. The perp succeeded because of low barriers to entry. So they didn't have to prove much to ask for the money, but you would have to think that where does greed stop?
It doesn't until it's caught.
And what's interesting is you would think that the high numbers that we're seeing from New York and California would be the highest in the country, but they're not. If you look at a per capita, Montana, Wyoming, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa, Vermont, and Maine have the highest per capita, and Alaska. So again, as Doge rolls out across all of these states and starts looking at the money and where it's going, I think we're going to see it's a nationwide issue. It's not localized to just blue states, because there's quite a few red states that have it too, which means the red politicians might be in trouble too.
Exactly. 100%. I agree. Ozzy Crosby's here over on YouTube. Skippy is here on YouTube as well. Bonnie Darling said, it's why Melissa Hortman was unalived. Waltz hired a hitman. She probably found the fraud. Democrats are pure evil. Well, and like Alex just said, Bonnie, I don't disagree with you, but I think there's enough Republicans that are nefarious as well, and they're all being rooted out as we move forward. All right, let's move on. Israeli Defense Ministry deployed the Iron Beam, they're calling it. a high-powered laser inception system developed in partnership with the U.S. Now, if we've helped Israel supposedly create that, I have to believe that we've already got it here. And is that the dome that President Trump has been talking about, James?
It very well could be, Sam. Um, the Iron Beam laser is an operational high-energy laser weapon system designed to intercept and destroy aerial threats like rockets, mortars, and drones at a negligible cost per interception. Israel accepted delivery just this month. The system burns or fries, I like the word fries, targets out of the sky. It operates at a speed of light and a power beam of 100 kilowatts.
Wow. Wendy J, thank you for all the gifts. And I Speak 1717, thank you as well. So, well, Dave, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, it looks like it operates out 6.2 miles. And yeah, if we're giving it to somebody else, we have a higher grade, higher quality item. And, we kind of talked about energy weapons. Is this one of them?
DEWs, baby.
Yep.
Some random guy speaks on YouTube said you forgot to mention Rhino Republicans is who you're referring to. Yeah, that's exactly who I'm talking about. In addition to the Democrats.
I did bring up the Republicans.
No.
Yeah.
This is what somebody on YouTube said. Random guy.
I know. I
Yeah.
saw that.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is the Iron Dome, and this is why. Performance of high-powered lasers like this can be adversely affected by clouds, rain, fog, not fully intended to replace missile-based defense systems. Unlimited ammunition, we'll say, on these is great. 10 kilometers is the approximate range. So I think to have a missile defense dome, you've got to have considerably more than a 10-kilometer radius to be able to take things out. So that's why I don't think it's the Golden Dome.
Maybe a secondary option.
Yeah, exactly.
Protection,
Tim Shaw 707 said, I just want to see arrest. So much fraud and all talk. I don't disagree with you, Tim. The point that I always make is if this is RICO, which I believe it is, you have to wait until the end or you jeopardize every other case underneath it. And we've got over 600,000 sealed indictments. I mean, when it pops, it's going to pop. And maybe it won't be, a pop so much as a process as we've been seeing. But I'm with you. We've got to see arrests, and I think it's coming. Andre Lynn 81 said, is that why my property taxes are so high in Nebraska? Well, I'm sure that's part of it. Dobermom 79 said, arrest all of them. Well, and we don't know how many have already been arrested. We're just not aware of. Moving forward, MHS is here. Good morning. Rick Sr. said they'd better do something before the midterms. Well, again, we don't know what the plan is. I believe there is a plan in place. Are they going to allow them to steal 2026? I don't know. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But again, time will tell. Russell Webster said, why would anybody give Israel anything? Well, there is a difference between what's actually happening and what we're being told is happening. I believe that there are many operations taking place behind the scenes that we're not privy to. Now, how that plays out, how they script it out, your guess is as good as mine, but I wouldn't lose faith at this point. Kathleen Garcia is posting a whole bunch in the chat. I'm guessing she's having some kind of an issue because I know that's interesting. I don't know why that's doing that. But anyway, so let's move on. Or did I get everybody? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So Joe Rogan had Elon Musk on again, and they were talking about George Soros. And they said that Soros didn't change the laws. He changed the people who enforced them. Now, that screams election interference. It screams about the need for election integrity and voter ID. And if you saw what President Trump posted a couple of days ago, he had 121 posts in an hour and a half. And the majority of them had to do with election integrity. Alex, what do you make of that?
I opened up Truth Social this week and I was like, holy crap, this dude's been busy. Look, the process has to be fixed, and we all know that. I think he's putting in place as best he can the number of safeguards that he can in the system that he has to work in. But I think at the end of the day, it's going to fall to us as the patriots and the citizens of the country to show up, and I think that means primaries, that means midterms. I know that the media is doing its best effort right now in all aspects, including social media, to divide and try to pit, tit against tat, and we've got to be smarter than that. The reality is, if we don't get out in primary and we don't get out for the midterms, then all of this has been for nothing, and it'll be paralyzed.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to go that direction, but you're right, Alex. Richard Pacente's here over on YouTube, and Skippy said if they don't arrest them by 2028, no one will be arrested. It's coming. I don't know when. I don't know how they're going to roll it out, but I think a lot of them have already been dealt with, and we just haven't seen it yet. But hang in there, Skippy. It's going to happen. Let's see. Who did I miss on this? James?
Well, you look at somebody that's worth 7.5 billion. He changed people with money. That's exactly what he did. When you buy bricks and have them delivered out on the city streets for ammunition, that's just, that's reaching.
100%.
But the guy is he's so nefarious. I can't believe, and maybe our military already has captured the guy, but the guy, and I'm going to go back for just a second, Sam. You've often said that things have happened and that we don't know about it. That's the way it should be. It should have never been, oh, CNN's on scene and this is what we're doing, If it's a flood and you got Anderson Cooper standing in a ditch with, 2 feet of water and it's saying, oh, it's the worst flood in history. It's the same shit.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Hey, look who showed up. Lisa Maria is here. At least I'm guessing she just showed up because I just saw her name. Good morning, Lisa. Glad you are with us. I think you missed an interstatism. We'll have to send it to you on text later. Let's see here. Russell Webster said, I believe there isn't going to be arrests. They want the Dems to win the midterm so they can put the blame on them when nothing is getting done. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, it's possible, sure, but I think that there's much more going on that we're just not aware of at this point. All right,
what isn't getting done? This is the fastest moving administration that
ever.
I mean, look at the last administration. It's like watching molasses then.
Dude, that was Weekend at Bernie's for 4 years. Are you kidding me? My God. All right, well, let's do a sponsor break here. So as you all know, we're not going to show websites at this point. We're trying to break out of this algorithm at TikTok, and primarily because of James, we have been throttled on TikTok. I'm kidding. It's not because of James. I'm just joking. But so we're just going to announce what they are. So MyPillow, Mike Lindell, who's running for the Minnesota governorship, has sponsored us from the beginning. So go to mypillow.com, use the discount code SAM, and get up to 80% off your purchases. Neil Naturopathic. Neil Naturopathic is the only chemical-free, toxin-free hair care products in the market today that I'm aware of. Go to neilnaturopathic.com, use the discount code SAM20, and receive 20% off your order. And Dr. Peter Glidden. Dr. Glidden is with us every Friday, like clockwork, bringing the truth about health and wellness. Well, if you want access to him directly, go to my website, samshalhoub.com, click on Dr. Glidden's button, and it'll take you to his website. He's generously offered our viewers a 30% discount to join his membership. And he does live question and answers twice a week on his website. So go to my website, click on Dr. Glidden's button, use the code SAM, and you'll get a 30% discount. And then, of course, we have Best Line Racing, the best fuel and engine additives on the market today. If you go to my website, samshalhoub.com, and use the code SAM, he's running a special now. It's a 50% discount through the end of the year. So if you ever want to take a chance and you want to try a new fuel additive or engine additive, go to my website, click on Best Line Racing, use the code SAM, and you get a 50% discount through the end of the year. Alex, what about meditation?
Links in my bio. Beginner's Guide to a Life-Changing Meditation, the easy road to a peaceful mind. You have 3 days left to get the book before January 1st, and I will donate 1 hour of time to do a private meditation lesson with you The benefits are untold. Thank you, Sam.
Yes, thank you, Alex. Hilky Gigi's here. Chicken Lady just showed up. Good morning, all, and thank you all for sending the heart me's. Again, we need to get to 60 per day on the heart me's to break this algorithm. So if you haven't sent one and you have the ability to do it, please do so. Thank you. All right, moving on. So President Trump's blockade of Venezuela has left approximately $1 billion of Venezuelan oil, crude oil that is, out in the ocean, around 17.5 million gallons. I would venture to guess that we're going to own that now. Alex, what do you think?
There's a specific legal process that has to be followed for us to own that oil. I think it's they're going to work through that. And in the grand scheme of the number of barrels of oil that are out there in the world, it's really not a lot.
Dave?
But sanctions are there for a reason, right?
Yeah. Dave?
Well, I think we're cutting the head of the snake off, and like the last story, it's the money. So if you can shut that down, it sure slows things down a little bit for the evil side of everything that we're fighting in the deep state.
Yeah, Benji 1959 said they owe us that oil by international courts. Interesting. Hey, Franny Dragonfly just showed up. Hi, Franny. James, what are your thoughts?
Well, I had to do a little bit of digging, but I got some good detail on it. The Skipper was grabbed in early December, and the Centuries was grabbed in mid-December. The U.S. is cutting off oil revenue funding the Maduro regime. Venezuela cries piracy. This is the part that I really love. Tankers are being sent to Galveston for unloading. We will keep the oil and the ships. They are older ships, and they could get dismantled for scrap.
Interesting. Very interesting. For
They can't take them to Houston because they're too small a port. So they got to go to Galveston to get this accomplished.
Well, 17 million barrels of oil is worth about $1 billion.
It's a good grab.
Yeah, you think? Exactly. Let's make off, baby. I like that. So Iran's president, and I'm going to butcher this name, Mossad Pezeshkian, said in a state media interview on Saturday that his country is engaged in a full-scale war with U.S., Israel, and Europe over their nuclear program. Now, those are some pretty strong words. Dave, what do you make of it?
Well, it's just one of those deals. It's when you're fighting evil like that, and you're fighting the nuclear deal, not allowing them to have it. It's a constant war, but to have the upper hand like we all have, it's kind of easy to knock them down. It's just those sneak attacks we got to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. Alex?
This is an interesting headline because another headline from December 24th says United Nations, Iran and the United States reaffirmed their commitments to diplomacy at a contentious meeting at the UN Security Council on Tuesday. The gap between the Trump administration and the Islamic Republic on nuclear deal remains very wide and deep. So I guess my question is, why is he coming out and saying we're at full-scale war when we just had the UN diplomacy going on? I think there's some positioning here. Is it central casting?
Well, that's very interesting that you say that, James.
Basically, the president, and I'm not even going to try his name, basically he's crying about sanctions of all three countries and foreign pressure. He's whining about nuclear strikes on their air defense network and prominent military installations we took out or either took out or severely damaged. He's crying. And, he's feeling it.
Right. And again, there's much more going on than meets the eye. When we supposedly bombed the Iranian nuclear sites, I'm not going to dig into that whole rabbit hole, but things are not as what they appear on the surface, in my opinion. Franny Dragonfly.
I'm happy we went back for seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Franny Dragonfly, thank you for all the gifts. And Franny has just hit level 34. Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Franny. Let's see here. Oh, geez. Morpheus 1 over on YouTube. Hey, Trump train! There it is. Thank you, John. Morpheus One over on YouTube. I think you have some misinformation, or you're just not reading and not understanding what's going on. But nice try. Let's see here. Lisa Maria with the Trump trade. Exactly. All right. Did I get everybody on that one? I did. Well, what do you know? I got it right. So we're going to talk about silver a little bit. And I discovered this weekend that silver is the 47th element on the periodic chart. It's also, the symbol is AG. The A being the first letter in the alphabet and the G being the seventh. What does that spell? Dave?
17. No doubt about that. It's interesting. There's lots of things pushing that. Obviously, silver is used in everything electronic. It's the most durable, most conductivity element there is. And I think it was that China has 60%. They mine 60% of the world's silver across the board. And I think we actually mine only 2/3 of what we use nowadays. So it's going to be interesting to see where that price goes.
Well, and starting, I think, January 1st, China is restricting their exporting of the silver, right? So what's that going to do to the markets? And I want everyone to know, I did not discover this AG in the 47th on the periodic table. Someone else on TikTok, or I should say on X, had posted it. And I can't remember for the life of me who it was, but I can't take credit for it. I'm just merely reporting on what I found. Alex, what do you think?
This is another one of those situations where, much like crypto, it's a set it and forget it. So if you're dumping money into it thinking you're going to get rich quick, I don't think that's the case. I think that it's going to take time. The shenanigans in the market are being exposed in all markets, in all forms of currency, and I think precious metals is just another spot that the spotlight's going to be shined and the cockroaches are going to scatter. When you have 5,000 pieces of paper for every physical ounce of silver, it's way over leveraged. Go back to Wall Street apes and what they did with the GameStop and other stocks. When people are taking shorts, they're betting that it's going to fail. And when it doesn't fail, a whole bunch of people lose a whole bunch of money. And I think a whole bunch of people are about to lose a whole bunch of money in the silver space.
Yeah, I think you're right. James?
Well, I conversed with Dave over the weekend about silver, and I think he probably wore a pair of soles out of those chutes, pacing back and forth like a lion, waiting for it to go up. But and that was the fun part. We talked about where we can acquire silver, how you can acquire silver, and if you want to hold it at a lower rate. A lot of people speculate that it could go $600. A lot of people speculate it could go over 10,000. So it's one of those things that I sit back and to me it's a novelty. I look and see, where do I have any? I went through my box of goodies and tried to find something pre-64 in quarters and half dollars. And, it's just one of those things. Well, hey, it could be worth some money someday.
Well, you could do what Dave did and just go out and buy $500 worth of quarters and go through each and every one of them to try and find.
Those quarters are worth over $14 a piece, just to give you a heads up.
I know. Believe me, I'm saying that was a good move.
The thing is, though, and I had a conversation with a friend of mine this weekend because he was talking about, should I go buy silver? And I've got a buddy that's got a bar that's this, that, the other. And I'm like, look, so a couple things to consider when you're buying the precious metals. Not financial advice, just my own experience. Take it or leave it. Buy it on the TikTok shop. But you want to pick things up from reputable dealers, and you want to ask them questions like, okay, what is your buyback? Because most like if you try to go to a pawn shop and sell quarters, they're not going to give you that $14. They're gonna give you much less, because the scrap that has to be separated from the actual silver, if you were going to melt that down, is labor intensive and costs money. If you did buy, let's say, silver or gold bars, you can't just go to your local jewelry store and sell it. In most cases, they'll give you 80%, maybe 70%. Pawn shops will give you 40 to 50% of what the melt weight or the market spot price. So if you are going to do business with someone and you're going to acquire precious metals, make sure you're asking the questions. If I decided to unload what I've got, what is the process? What percentage do you buy back at? I personally used one out of Oklahoma. Their buyback is at 90%. So if I'm going to sit on it for 5 or 10 years and it goes up 150%, they're going to get their little 10% off of what spot price is. And I still made 140% profit. So while it is, fun to go get the silvers and nickels and dimes and those that are predate and have the silver in them, it's not spot price that you're going to get for those. Just heads up.
I Speak 1717 said, all I know is the cash I spent is worth a lot less than the silver I hold now. Very good point. 100% I agree. In fact, Richard Pacente said, where do you buy the coins? So, Richard, I can only speak for myself. I have been looking at some precious metal people for sponsorship, and I haven't made a decision yet. But I use a company called SD Bullion. That's sugardavidbullion.com. And they've been super, just a super company to work with. Now, they don't sponsor us yet, but I'm looking at several different options. But that's the company that I use. And Alex, do you want to tell people what your company is?
Sure. They're out of Oklahoma City. It's AP Alpha Papa Mex MEX.com. And you too can own a piece of gold or silver. Again, when you go to try to unload these, if you went somewhere, if they don't have an X-ray machine, look, we live in times where there are shysters and scam artists, and a lot of these companies they won't take it unless they drill a hole in it to make sure it's solid all the way through. They want to put acid tests on it, and a lot of the ones that pay the highest portion on precious metals actually have an X-ray machine so that they can look inside and make sure that it's solid all the way through. So really make sure that you're dealing with a reputable dealer, because there's a lot of fake crap out there.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. 100%. All right, moving on. So I went and I did a little research over the weekend about the top 10 assets in the world. And here's the breakdown. Gold is number 1 at over 31 trillion. NVIDIA is number 2 at over 4 trillion. Silver, now number 3 at over 4 trillion. Apple, number 4 at just over 4 trillion. Alphabet, which is Google, at number 5 at 3.8 trillion. Microsoft, number 6. Wait a minute, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, number 6, Microsoft at just over 3.6 trillion. Amazon at 2.48 trillion. And number 8 is Bitcoin at just over $1.7 trillion. Now, what's the big difference between all of these companies? Primarily, the age. Bitcoin has been on the market, 14 years now? I think it's 14, 15 years. What's that?
2011, right? Is that when it came on?
I think it was 2011. That sounds right.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting at is you have basically a new asset compared to all the others, and it's already at number 8. I mean, that's a big deal. Not to mention silver being number 3 now. What's it going to be when it hits 100 or $150 an ounce and so forth? Dave, what do you make of it?
Well, something we didn't talk about, the silver in November of 2025, silver was officially added to the U.S. Geological Survey list of critical minerals in the United States, along with copper, uranium, and others. So that's a huge deal. I mean, we're running short on it all the time, and with what Trump is trying to build with AI and the chips, it's only going to be utilized. And who came out with the new silver battery that's supposed to give electric cars 600 miles? So it's all coming. And I think James, how much does a Tomahawk use in silver? Just one Tomahawk missile?
Didn't we 45 ounces, wasn't it?
No, 500 ounces.
For one Tomahawk?
Yes.
Wow.
There's 500 ounces in one tomahawk.
Holy
30
smokes.
some pounds.
That's
of it.
crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see. Wendy said I missed it. What was 1 and 2? So number 1 is gold. Number 2 is Nvidia. But here's the thing: gold is at 31 trillion, over 31 trillion. Nvidia, the next closest, is at 4.6 trillion. That's a huge difference. So when silver, because of the amount of people holding it, when silver hits a higher number, it's gonna rabbit up, I would think. James?
Well, they said there's less than 10% people hold 100 ounces or more in the United States.
Well, Dave, just to further your point about the tomahawk and helmet, it just goes to show that we send love with every time we push the launch button.
Oh, jeez. Alex?
I don't know what list you were looking at, Sam, because I did a little digging. The list that I came up with, and I guess it's based off of different people and a different way they look at it. But gold, obviously, number 1 at 31 to 32 trillion. Nvidia coming in second at 4.6 to 4.7 trillion. Apple is at 4 trillion. Alphabet, Google is at 3.8, Microsoft at 3.7, Amazon at 2.4, and silver sitting at 7 with 2 to 3 trillion. Bitcoin is right below that at 1.8. Meta, Facebook at 2 or 1.5 to 2, and Tesla at 1.5 to 1.6. But as we see the proper prices for gold, when the revaluation comes as it's supposed to, and it's been hidden from us for so long because it's a key indicator of inflation. It's not that gold is worth more, it's that our dollar is worth less. It takes more dollars to buy the same piece of gold. The gold doesn't get bigger, it doesn't get heavier. It just, by inflation, is worth more dollars because the dollars have lost 97% since we went off of the gold standard. Silver, same thing. We talked about the trading of paper. When it rights itself, the industrial demand versus the amount that we're pulling out of the ground, silver is, I believe, not financial advice, is set to probably get up there around the apple in the 3 to 4 trillion. Pretty quickly.
Well, see, I have it at silver at 4.4 trillion at a price of $79.68. Maybe that's the difference because it's dropped in the last 12 hours.
10 most valuable assets. I don't know. Like I said, this is based off of gold remains the single. AI-driven growth is going to push the precious metals. Most valuable brands, obviously. For real-time updates, check sites like Companies Market Cap or 8marketcap.com.
Well, Mark Madsen said, is the prices the same in other countries or the same worldwide? I think that they're adjusted for each currency, aren't they?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I would guess anyway. Interesting. Did I get everyone on this one?
Yep.
Okay. Moving on. If I can get my... okay, so President Trump hosted Zelensky over the weekend in Mar-a-Lago. That was interesting enough. But in the press conference afterward, how many times did President Trump talk about central casting? Now, that's not coincidental. And I believe a lot of what we're seeing is kayfabe. Now, I'm not going to say this was, but I'm going to say that I think a lot of what we're seeing is kayfabe. But the fact that President Trump kept singling out individuals and saying, boy, you look like central casting. There's something up with that. James, what do you make of it?
Oh, I totally believe he was trying to let us know who is and who isn't real. Trump says there's progress with that country. I can't think of it right now. Zelensky's country. Ukraine, but there's thorny issues that remain. Zelensky wants 30, 40, and 50-year deals, and President Trump says we're 90 to 95% complete with these peace talks and these finalized talks, but we got some thorny issues to go through.
Exactly. Melissa Flinner, thank you for all the gifts. Cindy Lou just showed up. Hey, Cindy. Diana Lynn 10, thank you for the heart me. You guys are great. Dave, what do you make of it?
Well, I've seen Zelensky dance, so I know who was in Central Casting for damn sure.
Exactly. Exactly. Alex?
He stole my thunder, man.
I
can't
know.
take that dude serious. I mean, you can't take Zelensky serious. Have you seen him in high heels?
Yeah.
Not to mention that he was playing the piano with his hands in the air, if you know what I'm saying. Exactly. Central Casting at its best. Hey, Lace and Steel just showed up. Hey, Lace, glad you could make it.
What was he playing? Great Balls of Fire, like Top Gun?
It could have been. I don't know what the song was, but
I think it was Itsy Bitsy Spider.
Itsy Bitsy Spider. Exactly. I mean, all of the memes that came out after that meeting. Oh my gosh. Pappy Trumpo over on X had a picture or had a video of President Trump in normal size, and he had Zelensky at about 4 feet tall. And oh my God, it was cracking me up. But there's no shortage of comedy when it comes to FORPOG, the fourth PSYOP group, and some of the things that they're putting out, in my opinion, it just cracks me up. Oh my word. Scott said another one bites the dust. Exactly. Hey, Extreme Diecast just showed up. He said Z's high heels video. It's a laugh out loud. Isn't that the truth? Gosh, isn't that the truth? All right, everybody. So that's it for today. Let's see where we are. Holy smokes. 119,000 likes. You guys are awesome. That is so cool. And all the heart me's. I don't even know how to look that up. But if you haven't sent a heart me yet, please send it. That's helping us break out of this algorithm. And I think it's working because our numbers have gone up today. I don't know. Well, we need to get the word out there. So anything we can do to make it's worth it to us. And I'm hoping that you think it's worth it to you as well. So before we get to dancing, I'm going to sign off on YouTube, X, Rumble, and Facebook. Thank you all for joining us. We will be back.